Howdy do, welcome to this free video drum lesson. Today I'm going to show you how to play the song I'll Stick Around by the Foo Fighters, drummed originally by Dave Grohl. Here's what's coming up. So just to let you know, I've got all 3 pages of the song fully transcribed for you in PDF format. The entire song from start to finish. You can download all 3 pages of the PDF from my website for free. You'll find a link beneath this video. And this is really a bass drum workout. This is a lot of fun to play. Lots of really cool rocky beats. So a little drum solo section. But like I said, it's really the bass drum that's doing so much work in this song as usual. Dave Grohl's a bit of a master with the single bass drum foot. And we start as we mean to go on with the rockiness. We start with this blistering machine gun snare drum fill. 1 meander, 2 meander, 3 meander, 4 meander, but the bass drum's playing on all 4 beats, all 4 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 meander, 2 meander over the top of it. We're then going to move up to a crash cymbal. I tend to use this crash cymbal over here, but you can use any crash you like, of course. And then we get this really cool chorus drum beat, which I remember when I was first learning the drums, I used to play along to albums like this, and it used to completely throw me exactly what Dave was doing. I could hear there's something really weird going on with the bass drum. When you slow it down, it's not so complicated, but of course, played at this tempo, it's a real workout. But what he's playing, and I'll play it on the right cymbal just so we don't get the wash of the crash all the time. We're playing this very slowly. 1 and 2 meander, 3 and 4 and that 2 meander is the key part. 2 meander, 3, 2 E and 3, 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4. So your bass drum's doing a lot of the work. Not only is it playing all the 8th notes in between the snare drums, we've got this just to make it even more interesting and tricky at the same time. So we come in with that drum fill, and we're straight in with the groove and not letting go to the end of the song really. So that drum beat there I just showed you with the intro drum fill, we play that drum beat 4 times. For the first line, same for the second line, but the very last bar, second line, bar 4, we get 1 and 2 and 3 and. So up to that point, exactly the same, but then 4 and a 1, a little and a drum fill, 2 16th notes. We're going to move to the ride cymbal for the verse. We've actually written on the chart here, ride and crash cymbal, because like a lot of Foo Fighters songs, they've got a really clever structure where is it a verse? Is it a mid-chorus? Is it a pre-chorus? Is it what is it exactly? We've got different sections, and Dave moves to the crash cymbal for the second half of every 2 lines or so, not all the way, as you're going to see. But anyway, we get that drum fill coming out of that drum beat. And for 1, then we're going to move to the ride cymbal. We're going to be able to relax for a little bit. We're going to play 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. So a lot easier to play than the choruses. But that's our verse drum beat. That gets played 4 times for the first line. The second line though, bar 2, halfway through the line, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and a 1. And there might be a bass drum on the and a 3. There certainly is later on. But I don't think I included it on this chart because I couldn't hear it. 1 and 2 and 3 and. It might be the and a 3, but 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and a 1. Again, we move up to my favourite crash cymbal for the last 2 bars of this line, where we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all the bass drums, 1 and 2 and 3, and then and-a, 4-E, and-a. So 6 16th notes, 4 on the snare and then 2 on the tom. And I've chosen to play on the floor tom. It could be the high tom. Remember that Dave Grohl's high tom in this period was really big. Well, that's more Nirvana period, but it has huge sounding toms. So to replicate that, I'm going to use the floor tom because it sounds more like the recording. And a 4-E, and-a. So we get 1 and 2 and 3, and a 4-E, and a 1. So that second line, 1 and 2 and 3, and I'll perhaps speak in a moment. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. We're then going to move to the right cymbal for the next part of the verse. Before we go on though, let me show you what we got so far up to speed. I'm going to play both lines of the intro and then the first 2 lines of verse 1 up to speed without the microphone on so you can hear just the drums. Here we go. So for line 3 of the verse, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 6-bar structure. We basically play the verse drum beat all the way up to the 6th bar, and we come up with and 4. So that drum fill gets played a lot, starting on the and of beat 3. Sometimes it ends on 2 on the toms. Sometimes it's just all on the snare drum. This time it's just all on the snare drum. 1 and 2 and 3. We then go into a very brief, and I've kept it as part of the verse because it's only 4 bars, very brief sort of chorus part again. So we've gone from just for 4 bars with that chorusy section, and that 4th bar of that line ends with the drum fill. And then we're into what I would probably rewrite as verse 2 at this point, but I've kept it as verse 1. We get 4 more bars of that groove, the verse groove, and then where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, line 6, bar 2, we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1, and then this idea again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, all on the snare drum. Then we get to the last part of the verse. 4 bars of the verse groove, and then the very last line of the page, we come out the same way in bar 2 and a 1, and into bars 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It sort of emphasises 3 and 4 and. So we get a surge on beat 3 as well as 4, and really just separating those crash cymbals. You could do play something like. That's probably what I would do, where beat 4 would be a different crash cymbal to the one you're riding on. We then go into my favourite part of the song, the little drum solo section, and it's a beauty. So we're up on the right cymbal. I call this pre-chorus 1. We get this 1 and 2 and a 3 and. I've written that snare drum on the of beat 2 as a normal volume, but it's actually quite quiet in the mix. Maybe it should be a ghost notes. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. But you can definitely hear it on the recording. And there's the and a beat 4 there, the accented and a beat 4. We're then going to continue into the second bar where we skip beat 1 with the bass drum, come back in on the and a beat 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, accenting the and a beat 4 there. So both those bars are emphasising the and a beat 4. Put them together. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Then we get the drum solo section. Skips over beat 1, comes back in with just the ride cymbal and bass drum on beat 1, 1 and then we're going to move down to the snare drum, and from this point onwards, pretty much to the end of the drum fill, we're playing bass drums on 8th notes. So classic sort of rock and roll drum fill, drum solo kind of idea where you're playing stuff over the toms and your bass drums just maintain this 8th note pulse. But To make it interesting and exciting, we've got this accent pattern. We've got 1 E and a 2, 1 E and a 2, and a 3 E and. So it's like a group of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Da da dum, da da dum. 1 E and a 2 and a 3 E and. We're just filling in all the gaps on the snare drum. We're just moving to, I've written as the floor tom, you could use the high tom instead. Falling on beat 3 and the and a beat 4 with the bass drum underneath it. Then we go into the last bar and we get the 1 E, but instead of playing, he plays. So we get 1 E and a 2 E, then and then 4 E and this is the key tricky part here. 4 E and 3 E and 3 E and a 4. That bass drum on the of beat 3 is a brilliant idea that a lot of drummers use. Going into a snare and crash, you use the bass drum to fill in that gap that's being missed with the floor tom. So you've got this pumping thing going on up to beat 3, but then you've got 3 and a 4. Love that idea. So we get 3 and a 4 and 1, and you can use a different crash if you like. So those two bars together, 1 and 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E. Did I can that right? 1 and 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and 1. 1 and. And let's try and play the 4 bars together. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Well, I'll play it up to speed for you in a moment without the mic on. We then get the next line, a little bit easier. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Again, the and the 4 being emphasised there. But then we get this build up for the last 2 bars. And he doesn't come in with the snare drum straight away. Again, missing beat 1, 1 and 2 and, floor tom and bass drum together, then the snare drum comes in. You could play it straight away, but you don't really hear the snare drum until about beat 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, and then and a 4 E and a. So the bass drum continues the 8th note pattern all the way through that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Then we're back into our chorus. So, you know, just relentless stuff going on there. So before we go on, let me play for you this section up to speed. Pre-chorus 1, both lines. Here we go. So chorus 1, we got our chorus drum beat. The second line, we come out the 4th bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and the 4 E and a. And the bass drum, I think I heard that right, is playing and 4 and underneath it. 4 here, 2 here. We're then into our next verse, which is a shortened version of the previous verse, verse 2, just 4 lines. We come out bar 2 on the second line, into the crash. That drum fill at the end of the second line. No bass drum underneath it, but you could if you wanted to. Next line, very similar. The 4th line comes out from bar 2, bar 3, into bar 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's the difference there. There's a flam on beat 4. But he sort of emphasises the crash from beat 2 in this bar. You start to miss the flam. We then go into pre-chorus 2, which is the same structure as pre-chorus 1, sort of like a chance for the drum solo. Bar 1, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Okay, we've done this idea before. 1 and 2, a 3. And this time I have written the snare drum as a ghost note in brackets. I think it's played quieter than usual. 1 and 2, a 3 and 4 and. I accidentally hit the crash there. Then we get this idea. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. It's just a line of snare drum and bass drum notes, eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 with a flam ending it nicely. 1 and 2 and 3. Into the next line, bars 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and then this time the build up does sort of include a snare drum from the beginning. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 into our next chorus, I believe. So let me now play for you pre-chorus 2 up to speed. So chorus 2 is double length. The end of the second line of we get the and a 1 drum fill, and then the end of the fourth line we get 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a. So an extended drum fill for the only time in the song, starting on beat 3, not the and a beat 3. Four, 4. So let's do that again for you. Let's do it up to speed. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. We then stay up on the crash cymbal, and we're basically playing a new section of the song. We're playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So all the bass drums filling in the gaps between snares on beats 2 and 4. The second line of chorus 3, we get the drum fill going into the next section, where we start to get this 4 on the snare idea, but it doesn't start that way. We get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Going from bar 4 into bar 5, so halfway through that line, notice how he doesn't play the snare drum on beat 1. I think he moves to a double crash, so we get this. I take too many bass drums there, but the idea really is that instead of playing 1, he's probably playing 1. He's playing like a double crash for beat 1. So just notice that slight difference there. Other than that, it just stays the same. Same for the fourth line. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 6-bar structure. Again, notice about that sort of interesting structure of the song. We get 1 and 2 and 3 and coming out into what I've called the outro, which is really our chorus. And then the very last line of the song, we end the song with, and I use this crash cymbal for the last outro because I find it easier to reach for that crash. You're choking it on 1 and you want to choke it on the and of beat 1. And really go 1 and, sort of accent those two notes, 1 and. So before we finish, let me now play for you, let's just do that last line so we can hear those two crash cymbal stabs. Here we go. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I certainly did. Love this song. Love Dave Grohl's drumming. It's a real fun song to play along to. An advanced song, no doubt about it, because the tempo and the bass drum stuff. But actually a lot of the stuff, when you break it down, isn't very complicated to understand. It's just the tempo and the bass drum technique that makes this more of an advanced lesson. But if you've got any questions, you can email me, rob@drumstheword.com. Don't forget, you can download the full PDF from my website. Again, the link is beneath this video. And then while you're over at the website, you might want to consider signing up to become an online member. And what I currently offer for £97, in fact, at the time of this recording, it's Black Friday weekend, so it's actually £73. You get access for a full year to every single full video song lesson I've ever recorded and transcribed. And that's coming up to 750 famous and popular songs where, just like this lesson, I teach you the song from start to finish. You get the fully transcribed PDF drum chart. And I have got a ton of Foo Fighters and Nirvana and Queens of the Stone Age, basically a ton of Dave Grohl song lessons. So if you're a Foo Fighter fan, Nirvana fan, any of those bands that he's played in, Them Crooked Vultures, then you'll find plenty of Dave Grohl material and Foo Fighter material up on the website already. As a thank you for signing up, I give you 3 ebooks I've written over the years containing hundreds of famous drum beats, fills and even drum solos. I'll give you access to hundreds of more little videos, teach you many, many more famous drum beats, fills and drum solos. And then over the years, your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members. So plenty of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But if you've got any questions about any of that, then feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. And until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you.